Hi guys, thanks for joining me. I'm Marilyn. Now on today's video, I'm going to etch some glasses that I got at the Dollar Tree store. I have 4 of my very best friends from grade school and high school going to show up in 30 minutes. So I'm going to have to go with a really simple and quick design. What I'm going to use for my project are the Dollar Tree glasses, some removable vinyl by Oracal. I'll link to that on Amazon. And then I have some transparent contact paper to use as transfer paper. I have my etching cream. This is Armor Etch. Some alcohol to clean them, some paper towels, a weeding tool, some wax paper, and then I'm going to make this on Cricut Design Space and cut it with my Cricut Maker. Now with the little bit of time that I have, let's get going. I'm in Cricut Design Space and I am keeping my design very simple because I just don't have a lot of time. And these glasses are really small, so there's not a lot of room for a design on them anyway. This is just going to help us know whose glass is whose. I have one more initial to do, and that's an L for Linda. So I'm going to click on text. Then I'm using Nostalgia Script, but really the font isn't the important thing here. I'll type an L. Then what I want to do is move it down so we can see it. I want my final design to be 2 1/4 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and make this about 2 1/4 inches. Notice how thin it is. Here's what I did to get those thicker. I went up to offset, and I'm using a 0.05 offset. I click apply. Then I'm just going to drag off the original letter and delete it. Now I want to show you one thing very quickly. Let me type that L again. So if I leave the L the original size and I do that same offset, 0.05, I'll go ahead and drag off the original. Now if I wait and make this bigger after I've added my offset, look what happens. I don't like that nearly as much. So my suggestion is, if you're going to use the offset, get your letter to about the size you want, then decide on your offset size. All right, so this is 2.363. I'm going to go ahead and change that to 2 1/4. My dimensions are locked. You can tell because this little lock is locked. And there we go. Now to cut this, I think what I'm going to do is just put them all under each other. Then I can cut a tall, narrow strip of my vinyl. Actually, I'll move these 2 over here, have 2 columns. What I want to do is have enough vinyl around each letter so that when I'm adding my etching cream, there's enough vinyl, good coverage, that I don't accidentally drop some onto my glass. Now, you could always use painter's tape or something like that to tape around it. But this is how I'm going to do it. The last thing I'm going to do, since I want them to cut like that, I need to click attach. So I'll attach them. We'll click make it. Since I'm using them as a stencil, I don't need to mirror them or anything. Then I'm going to pull it down and away from the side just a little bit. So I'll click continue. Then for this, okay, I just got a text from my friend. She's running late. That's good for me. So she's an hour away. Okay, I get a little bit more time. So for this Oracal, I'm just going to click on vinyl. It's telling me make sure I use my fine point blade, and we're ready to cut. I'm going to go ahead and weed this on my mat. Now because we're using this as a stencil, I'm removing the opposite of what feels natural. Usually you want to leave the letters. Maybe you're going to add them to a sign or you're weeding heat transfer vinyl. In this case, since I'm using it as a stencil, I need to remove the actual letters. Then what I like to do to remove my vinyl from my mat is flip my mat over and then pull it away from the vinyl. To me, there's less stretching and buckling of your material when you do it that way. So I want to cut approximately right here. Now I'm going to look at the back, and it's pretty close to a line, so I'll use that line to make my cut straight. I think that'll help me line up my design on my glasses. So the next step would be to clean your glasses. I have rubbing alcohol. I'm just going to spray my glass where the design's going. Then I want to hold on to the glass somewhere where the design won't go, because I don't want to introduce oils or anything to the glass. At least not where the design will go. You want to remove any oils or grime or anything on this so that your etching cream is actually touching the glass and there's not some type of barrier between the etching cream and the glass. Now that's going to dry very quickly. So then what I'll do is I'll cut off a piece of this contact paper. This is clear so that I can see where I'm putting my design. And this is just going to act as my transfer tape. Hopefully I cut that large enough. Okay, yes I did. The way I like to do it is expose just one end. Then I can lay that down on the side of my vinyl, get it adhered down. As I pull the backing away, I can smooth out the part that's sticking to it. So I'm going to pull the back off the vinyl. I'm going to turn my light down. That's awfully bright. Okay, so I'm peeling the back off, and once I get it started, I can really just peel the top off of it. Now, notice that didn't lift. So what I need to do is just really make sure I press it down, and then if I pull the back off and apply a little pressure to it in a downward motion, usually that does it. It looks like maybe my vinyl got cut a little bit deep, so this paper wants to stay on it. So in that case, I'm just going to rotate it, see if I get a better result from this end. Okay, there we go. Now, since the glass is round, I don't need to worry if it's over here, because you just turn the glass. But what I want to do is try to have it straight. Since my script is slanted anyway, it's not a huge deal if it's not perfect. You would never know. So what I need to do is make sure there's no air bubbles between where the vinyl meets the glass. It doesn't matter if there's air bubbles over here, those won't affect it. But I need to make sure the vinyl is really secure to the glass anywhere where the etching cream will touch. Okay, I just had to stretch on that a little bit. Okay, so that's good. Again, it doesn't matter that you have these wrinkles or folds over here. That's not going to affect your etching at all. And I really want to rub this down before I take the front off. That way, none of the oil from my fingers gets on the glass. Now I'm just going to peel this top transfer tape away. And if you pull straight back, that really is a pretty good way to do it. I find that my vinyl lifts less when I do it that way than if I pull up. So again, these, that doesn't matter. The air bubble, if you can see it under there, that doesn't matter. As long as where the etching cream will touch is really sealed well, then I'm fine. Now in my case, I think it's good. If I feel like I need to press it down some more, I can use my contact paper and do it that way again, just to keep my fingers off my glass. Okay, now that it's time to etch, I'm going to go ahead and shake up my Armor Etch really well. And then I'm opening it over a little trash can because when you open it, all the crusty things from what's dried under the cap, they're going to fall off, and I don't want them falling on my table. Then I forgot to tell you at the beginning of the video that I'm using a popsicle stick. You could use a plastic knife that you got from a restaurant or anything, a spoon, plastic spoon, not a good spoon. Then I'm going to take out a nice amount. I'm always going to bring it over the top since the top of my glass is protected. Then never will I press very hard sideways. I don't want to encourage it to drag under the vinyl. Then I like to go back over it, just tap it in, make sure there's no little air pockets under it. And before I wash this off, I will actually tap it in again. Now I want to leave that sitting like that. I don't want to stand it up and have it drip down. So I'll go ahead and buzz through the rest of these. And then I'll talk to you toward the end of the video. Now after getting a little bit of that on my thumb and having to wash that off, I realized I didn't put any gloves on. I would recommend wear a glove. And then also, I think I told this on a prior video, I accidentally flicked a little bit of this one time and it came up and hit my face. It didn't get in my eye, but that made me realize you really need to wear eye protection. Accidents do happen, so just take all the precautions that you can. So I'm going to go back and just tap these in, and then I'm only going to let this sit on there for another 5 minutes. As I wash these, I'll start with the ones that I did first so that the others can continue to etch. Now I say that, but I have left this on 5 minutes, 15 minutes. It didn't make a difference. I've heard people talk about leaving this on even for an hour or two. Try it for yourself, but I just didn't find leaving it on longer did anything more. So in 5 minutes, I'm going to take these into the bathroom. I am going to wear gloves when I rinse them because it's going to get on my hands. I'll rinse them under warm water. I'll rinse it really, really well. Now, some of the inside black pieces might fall off when I do that, but then I'll remove the rest of the vinyl so that you can watch. Now, I've rinsed the etching cream off really well, and I'm going to go ahead and expose this here in front of the camera. The rest of them I'm just going to do under the water because you can see with the warm water it was peeling right off. So let me go ahead and give this a little bath with the alcohol and see what we have. Beautiful. Now this never shows up on camera nearly as well as it does in person. The etching is beautiful. All right, I'm going to try to turn the light off, see if that helps. Now I think you can see that. It looks a little weird in the camera. It looks really good. It did a good quality job. I don't have any bleeding or anything like that. Again, It's really hard for this to show up well on camera, but this turned out really nice. Thanks so much for joining me and sticking it out till the end. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I appreciate all your support. Until the next video, bye-bye.